right, I think my story that I'm going to share is about my first visit to the Pangea House. So a couple summers ago, I decided I wanted to go on a summer road trip slash music tour, partially as an excuse to quit my job, but mostly just to see if I could actually do it without checking it out or making excuses or being too shy to try doing this. So at the time, my brother was living in Valley City, North Dakota, and I had never visited him there. So that is what made me decide to drive west, just drive west from Minneapolis and as far as I could go. But I really had no idea where to book gigs along the way, like going that direction. So my solution was to turn to Reddit, like the website Reddit. So I simply went to the state of North Dakota's subreddit and said, hey, I'm driving straight across your state. Where can I play music? And I got a lot of helpful responses. And one in particular, one person said, if you want to come up to Minot, we have an awesome music scene here. And they're like, message me, I'll give you details. So looking back, I just actually looked up what I wrote back to that person. And reading it back, it sounds really rude. I didn't mean to be rude, but I was like, well, Minot's way off I-94, but if you really think it's worth it, I'll come and change my route and see what's up there. I didn't mean to be that rude, but it just came out that way. Anyways, I'm glad that I actually gave it a shot. So the internet stranger sent me to the Pangea House website, and after some technical difficulties, I finally got the booking request form submitted, and I got everything set up, and that was that. And then fast forwarding to that summer when I actually was on the trip, so I roll into Minot on a Sunday afternoon, and it was kind of creepy because the streets were very quiet at that lull of the afternoon, and it was really kind of deserted, and I had never been there before, so I was a little thrown off. But so I parked my car, found the address, and the door was locked, and I was like, oh, well, I'm early, whatever, I'll just hang out for a while. But then, of course, my crazy thoughts started slowly getting away from me, and I started really putting together what I was doing. I'm like, okay, I drove by myself out here because a stranger on the internet said, there's a building here where we'll let you play music in the basement. And then I started piecing it all together, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be some online person's idea of an elaborate prank. Like, let's get this girl from Minneapolis to drive all the way out here, and it's not actually there. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it could be worse than this. I could be kidnapped at any moment. They could have lured me here with the promise of a music venue, and now any moment I'm going to get swept away and blah, blah, blah. And just as my paranoia started getting away from me, I see this kid on a bike ride down the street, the first person I've seen this whole time I've been standing there. And like I said, I really had no idea who I had been corresponding with on Reddit, but my intuition immediately told me, oh, this is your Reddit guy. Like, if I could personify my impression of what Reddit would look like, it would look exactly like this person. And I mean that 100% affectionately, by the way. But sure enough, it turned out to be Cody Alt, a real live person with no intent to prank or kidnap me. And of course, he's sweet and welcoming, and he's only slightly frazzled because he actually doesn't have the key to the door, and he has to go on an excursion to track it down. And I'm pretty sure he tells this exact story in his own Pangea House narrative, so I won't retell this part other than to agree with what he said about how awesome it was to bond with the group of strangers that gathered outside that door while Zach and Jasmine were stuck in a Taco Bell drive-thru. But anyways, getting beyond that part, the doors open, the music starts, the people are wonderful, and the night is just magical. And that sounds so corny, but I really bet that anybody who's ever gone to a Pangea House event knows exactly the feeling I'm talking about. So what's my point of blabbering on about this? I think my point is this. In the span of those few hours that I was there in Minot, I crossed the entire spectrum of levels of faith in humanity. For like my starting point, in the middle of the afternoon, I'm on a deserted street in a new city with a sudden sinking feeling that trusting a stranger could have led me to harm, or it was a stupid idea to do that. But by the end of the night, I formed a bond with a room full of strangers in an overwhelmingly positive experience. And I actually have a hard time coming up with like decent words to describe the magnitude of that feeling. And the best I can do is really just the word, it sounds so over the top, but the word like divine. People call it God or love or goodness or the universe or whatever you call it. That's what shined through for me that night in those people in that place. just a feeling of utter completeness and contentedness. Like, this is how humans are supposed to live together in community. This is how the human species lives best. And humanity can be so, so good if we build ourselves the opportunity to live that way. And that's what the Pangea House community does in my mind. In all my blabbering, that's the point. You guys let me have a moment of total faith in humanity, and it's something that stuck with me, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. So thank you so much for that.